Now, in the same way as we could work out angles in the second quadrant, either by saying 90 plus theta or 180 minus theta, we have two options in the third quadrant as well, 180 plus theta and 270 minus theta. And in the fourth quadrant, 270 plus theta or 360 minus theta, or in fact 0 minus theta. And you have to learn the reduction formulae for all four quadrants, which does seem maybe a little bit overwhelming. But all you actually have to remember is how to work these things out. And my suggestion is you ask yourselves 4 what questions. First of all, what quadrant are you in? Okay, so let's take this first example, sine of 180 plus theta. 180 plus theta is in the third quadrant. Then ask yourself what sine, S-I-G-N, in the third quadrant, sine is equal to a negative value. What axis am I working from? Well, it was 180 plus. I'm working from the x-axis. And from the x-axis, my ratios always stay the same. So this sine of 180 plus theta simply becomes minus sine of theta. Sine of 90 plus theta, what quadrant? Second. What sine? Positive. What axis? Y. Okay, and from the y-axis, my ratio changes to its co-function. So sine is going to change to its co-function, which is cos theta. Cos of 180 plus theta, which quadrant? Third. What sign? Well, cos is negative in the third quadrant. What axis am I working from? The x-axis. So my ratio is going to stay the same. Tan of 180 plus theta, what quadrant? Third. Tan is positive in the third quadrant. What axis am I working from? The x-axis, and therefore my ratio stays the same. 270 plus theta, what quadrant? I'm in the fourth quadrant. In the fourth quadrant, sine is negative. So what quadrant? Fourth. What sine? Negative. What axis? Y. What ratio? It changes to its co-function. Cos of 270 minus theta, what quadrant? Third. What sine? Negative. What axis? Y. What ratio? It changes to its co-function. Tan of 360 minus theta, what quadrant? Fourth. What sine? Negative. What axis? X. What ratio? It stays the same. Sine of 90 minus theta, what quadrant? First. What sine? Positive. What axis? Y. What ratio? It changes to its co-function. And then these last 3 examples would only be for AP. Cosec of 180 plus theta, what quadrant? Third. What sine? Negative. What axis? X. What ratio? It stays the same. Sec of 90 plus theta, what quadrant? Second. What sine? Negative. What axis? Y. What ratio? It changes to its co-function. Cot of 270 plus theta, what quadrant? Fourth. What sine? Negative. What axis? Y. What ratio? It changes to its co-function. So my suggestion is that when you're working out your reduction formula, you're essentially tidying up an angle. What you have to remember is the same diagram that you used last year, and those 4 little questions. What quadrant? What sign? What axis? And what ratio? And it's as simple as that.